All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Real Estate Success Secrets Show. It's the show for agents who are taking over the world. And today I have with me Krebs and Shaka Walker, and they are going to talk to us about how they are succeeding now. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Hey, Kim, good morning. Good to be here.
Thank you for having us.
Good to have you all. It's been an interesting morning already, and it's just going to get even more interesting.
Yeah, it's been a different one today.
Yeah. So tell us about your production last year and what your goal is for this year.
Okay. Well, last year Shaka was Rookie of the Year at Berkshire Hathaway. It was his first year in the business. My production was 12 million. Our goal for this year is between 20 and $24 million.
Okay, awesome. Now, do you set units goals or are they usually dollar volume goals?
We set both, but I more focus on the dollar amount than the number of units. Our price point has been continually increasing, so the units, the dollar volume is more of the focus of what we're looking on right now.
So Shaka joined you on your team last year. Tell me a little bit about what brought that about and a little bit about your team structure.
Well, we actually started the team on January 1 of this year.
Oh, okay.
But Shaka came in as a new agent at Berkshire Hathaway last year, did very well. We decided at the end of this last year that we would go ahead and incorporate and become officially a team and build a staff structure around that, as well as a lot of systems that we were both, I was already using, Shaka had started using, and we decided to integrate that stuff together to build a powerful force where we can serve more customers and help more people.
Tell us a little about any systems that you're using to stay organized as a team.
Yeah, well, the main one we're using is Follow Up Boss. It's been a huge success for us, making sure that we are in contact with everyone that we need to stay in contact with. As a team, we can see where each other needs help. As our deals progress, we can see what stage they're in. It helps us to stay organized as well as focused on the activities that we need to be doing, the customers that we need to focus on. And it's definitely helped my business, and I know it's helped Bru as well.
We've also integrated a lot. We have a lot of tracking mechanisms in our office, for example, a deal board and stuff that everybody watches. We have a full-time administrative assistant now who also helps us with our video editing, a lot of those administrative types of things. Our website is also heavily integrated with artificial intelligence and call systems and automated action plans so that we're staying in touch with our customers, and we know when they're there. And we can help them the best we can immediately, because let's face it, in today's world, it's an immediate gratification need. So it's important that we stay in touch with our customers and that we're there to help them when they need us.
So true, so true. So tell me, what is the most important thing that both of you all have learned about building a team?
Communication.
Communication is critically important. You know, the most important thing in real estate is serving your customers and making sure that you do the right thing by them. No matter what you do in the business, if you take care of your customers, do right by them, honest with them, take care of them, cover them, and protect them in every way possible, then your business is successful. Customers are the center of it all. We're here to help people and to help them achieve their dream. Most of the people's owning their own home is the greatest dream that many people have, and it's our privilege really to be able to serve them and help them get there.
Sure. So Bru, how long have you been in the business?
In various capacities, over 20 years. I started in the building business originally. Then I got into selling real estate in 2005, and then of course, you remember the market crashed in 2007. So I became a foreclosure agent and did that until 2015 when I reinvented myself and came back into the resale business and have steadily grown to be one of the top leaders in that area here in the Midtown market.
Let's talk about that from 2015 when you reinvented yourself. What was one of the first things you did that really started to have an impact?
Such a change from the REO business because everything was price driven and it wasn't as customer oriented. The biggest thing that I did to reinvent myself is become extremely customer service oriented, building everything that I do around the customers, having really good communication systems with them, And then, of course, prospecting and networking was a huge part of getting back into the resale world.
Talk to me a little bit about your prospecting. What does that look like for you?
Fun stuff.
It is a never-ending process. Prospecting is probably the most important part of the real estate business if you're going to be successful. You have to continually reach out and talk to people, new people, old people, past clients, sphere of influence. All of those people are folks that you have to continually talk to on a regular basis. We typically spend 1 to 2 hours per day prospecting, calling on either circle prospecting, people around our listings, calling on new prospects, people that come in as leads, past clients, all of those types of things to reach as many people as possible. We also spend time prospecting to find buyers for our listings. It's a little bit different right now because the market is such a crazy seller-driven market at the moment. We were looking at the statistics, and on the video that I did on Wednesday, we only have a 1.2 month supply of inventory here in Atlanta, which is
insane,
absolutely unheard of. I don't think I've ever seen it like this. So prospecting for our buyers is not as important as prospecting for sellers right this minute. We're desperately trying to find sellers because we can sell their houses, no problem, and we're actually able to get more money for them. And of course, we have to use some special techniques to make sure we're getting the appraisals and stuff. But that's been very effective. But finding the sellers right now is probably our biggest target for prospecting.
Okay. Tell me about something, Bru, that you or maybe both of you have tried in the past that just didn't work. You thought it was going to be great and it wasn't.
I tried so many things. Any successful business has things that success and that fail. And anybody that tells you that they haven't failed at anything, anybody who's successful that tells you they haven't failed at anything is not telling you the truth. We've tried outsourcing some things like phone calls and stuff like that, and that has not been nearly as effective as us actually making the calls.
Yeah. Is that like an ISA, or is that what you're talking about, an inside sales executive that a lot of folks are using? Is that what you mean?
We've tried several different ISA approaches. So far, though, we have not found anything that's as effective as us picking up the phone and calling the people.
Wow.
There's just no substitute for knowing the market that you're in, being able to speak the language, being familiar with the buildings, being familiar with the neighborhoods, and understanding how it all fits together. An ISA often just doesn't have that market knowledge that we have. And when they get asked a question by a prospective buyer or seller, they don't have the answer, and we do.
Yeah.
Right.
First impressions are the most important thing, and being the front line is a lot better than having someone that doesn't know the market try to introduce you. Mm-hmm. Bringing as much knowledge to the client. The first introduction is really what's key. That's where we found our success, is when we're the first people our clients talk to.
Yeah, absolutely.
That makes a lot of sense. What specifically have you had to change as your business has grown?
Everything. This business is changing all the time. When I first started out, it was a much more manual process. Now everything's automated. It's all internet driven. It's all technology driven. So we're continually having to learn technology and make sure that we stay current with the times. Those people that sit back and say, oh, the old way works, those are the ones that fall out of the business. So we continually change. We continually learn. We continually bring in new technology. We continually bring in new coaching. All those things are a continual process all the time, learning.
So you talked about learning a little bit, and I want to direct this question to each of you. So Shaka, who have you learned the most from in business? And then Bru, who have you learned the most from in business?
Well, I've been lucky to have Bru as my go-to expert, always willing to answer all of my many questions. So I definitely say him, but also myself, not being afraid to just throw myself at something, really give it my all and try and not be afraid to fail, knowing that I can pick the pieces back up, whether it's a new form of prospecting, a new system that I want to integrate, and just learning what doesn't work so I can perfect what does work.
Okay. What about you, Bru?
I've had so many people that I've learned so many things from. I'd say that probably the top two are my coaches, Tom Ferry, and then my direct coach, Denise Jasinski. I can't speak today. I learned so much from them, from our mastermind groups, from our internal Facebook groups. We all talk back and forth and share ideas from all across the world. So we're learning stuff from people in other markets all the time. What works for them. Our coaches are bringing us more information, teaching us new technology, making sure that we are up to date on the best knowledge, the best market data, and what's going on all the way around the world so that we can bring it to our customers here in Atlanta and keep ourselves way ahead of the competition.
All right, so I've got another one for each of you as well. What has been your biggest challenge in real estate and how did you overcome it?
You want to go with that one first?
Yeah, definitely for me is a little bit of prospecting and not being afraid to ask for business. As a new agent, getting out in the field, obviously prospecting is a hard thing. Not feeling like you know enough to talk to people, being afraid of the rejection of, hey, why are you calling me? Who are you? Once I get over that, and it's a daily thing, I have to get over it daily in the morning to say, hey, I'm here to help people. That's why I'm calling. That's why I'm prospecting. It goes a lot better, but also even engaging with my sphere, not being afraid to say, hey, do you have any needs? May I help you in your real estate needs? This is my job and I love helping people. Let me help you. It is terrifying sometimes to ask for that business, but if you don't ask, they don't think you want to help them.
Yeah. That's a great mindset. I love that.
And I would agree with that. I mean, prospecting is probably one of the biggest hurdles. And it's important to remember that what we do is we provide a great service to people to help them get what they want. Mm-hmm. I mean, when you help somebody achieve the dream of the home that they want to own or getting rid of one that they want to get rid of and then move to the next one, that is a huge, huge piece of the business. And it's a great reward for us, even outside the monetary part, really, to be honest with you, the helping the customers and seeing somebody happy when they get the home that they really dream about, that one's a really huge one. And prospecting for that is incredibly important. That and of course staying up with the technology so that, and of course the contracts and the knowledge of the law, because those are always changing. I mean, every year we get new sets of contracts that are different. The laws change every year. And it's critically important because if we don't know those things, our customers would be in trouble. I mean, that's why, for example, people who sell their homes on their own often find themselves into a big pile of mess because they don't understand how the contracts work. They often fall into appraisal problems. They often fall into inspection problems. And, they end up costing themselves way more than they would have paid to have an expert who works for them. We actually find that our customers tend up netting about 4 to 5% more when they use us as opposed to if they went as a for sale by owner.
Oh, that's a great statistic to know. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Bru, what do you think is the most important lesson that you've learned over the course of your real estate career?
Be honest, be direct, and be willing to help your customers above all other things.
And what was your goal when you got started?
When I got into selling real estate, I had been a builder for many years. I was learning the business, and I think my main thing was to learn the business and really understand how it all works from a different perspective.
And Shaka, what was your goal when you got started?
Honestly, just to help as many people as possible. I knew if I did that, the money would come, the success would come. Just keeping focused on who can I help next? How can I be of influence? And I started right as COVID started. So everyone was miserable and not really thinking, hope was not really there. So I had to be the ray of sunshine and try to find the little hope in my life and transfer that to other people and say, hey, well, now's a great time to move because look at what's going on. Let's not forget about the low interest rates. We can change your life in the matter of months right now, saving you hundreds of dollars, whether it's refinancing or upgrading to another home or moving to an equally priced home with lower payments.
Well, and what we found in this market, I think especially since COVID hit, people are realizing how much more important their home is. Mm-hmm. I mean, we're not even spending the same amount of time in our offices. We're certainly not out at restaurants and socializing and going to clubs and the fun things that we used to do. So the home has become such a critical important part of people's lives. And like Shaka mentioned, with interest rates being around 2.7%, the cost to purchase is so far, sorry about the lighting, it seems like it's gone after us. Let me step this way just a little bit. You know, the cost of borrowing money to own a home, especially once you take out the property taxes and the deduction for the interest and stuff like that, is just so much cheaper than renting, that folks have seen home ownership as such an incredibly valuable thing, and the space where they live in. And that's one of the reasons we're seeing such a seller's market right now, is because everybody's realized that if you're throwing away money on rent, it's totally throwing it away. And I mean, we saw year over year in January this year in Atlanta, we saw a 17.9% increase in median market prices, which is crazy huge. I mean, we were seeing like 6 and 8, even when things were good, you know, like 2015 to 2020, but 17.9%. You think about that when you think about deducting for your taxes, deducting for the interest on your home, putting money in a principal account, which is basically like a savings account. There's no other investment in the world that makes like that, and you have to have a place to live. So it's been a really rich and rewarding experience. Of course, it is more challenging, of course, and making sure that our buyers get the homes that they want has become more challenging.
Very challenging.
I have a question for you both again. What book or class have you either read or taken that's been the most influential for you?
I love old Zig Ziglar. Yeah, I'm sure anybody who knows who Zig Ziglar knows about his big Mississippi voice and the way that he talks. And, you know, Zig, even though he started in the 1940s and 50s, his techniques and philosophies are still as true today as they were back then, you know, and I love anything that comes from Zig Ziglar.
Yeah. Awesome. And honestly, the same. Bru passes on the good literature that he's reading. He's like, hey, you may want to give this a try. And definitely Zig taught me how to talk to people and understand what people are truly saying, and how to make sure that they know that they're heard, and take that and make them happy with it.
Well, and I think one of the biggest things that Zig teaches you is that, you know, when you help other people get what they want, that's when you get what you want. And there's really no other gratification that's better than helping somebody else get what they want. I mean, like I say, even more so than the money and the success and all of the accolades that we get, helping folks get what they want is by far the most satisfying part of the business.
Awesome. Okay, I'm going to change directions a little bit. What's the weirdest thing you've ever seen while showing a house?
Well, I can remember one time when I was showing one of the penthouses at Metropolis, and we had an appointment, and I came in, the door was open, and we made it back to the shower, and well, some things were going on in there that we probably would not, shouldn't have been there, and the sellers got very upset. We started pretty quickly too.
Wow. So the door.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Well, we had the key from the lockbox, right? I guess the seller had forgotten that that we were coming, and they were having a little afternoon delight, and we walked right in on it.
You know, people just need to remember when they say folks can come over, don't they?
Right.
Not good. That's funny. No. This one goes to each of you. What's your morning routine, and what do you eat for breakfast?
Well, my morning routine, first thing that I do every morning is I get up and I meditate. I spend 10 to 11 minutes with a positive meditative motivational thing off of YouTube. I typically do about 30 minutes worth of exercises. Unfortunately, my breakfast should be better. I typically just have something like bagel and cream cheese and a couple of cups of coffee. Occasionally I'll make eggs and bacon and stuff like that. It just really depends on how my morning time pans out.
Well, with mine, the first thing that I really like to do, even before I get out of bed, is find something to make me laugh. I need something to make me smile, make me laugh, make me feel like, okay, today's going to be a good day. Of course, I like to try and work out in the morning. If I can get in a good workout, get my body moving, sweating, it makes me more fueled for the day. As far as breakfast goes, I like to drink a lot of water in the morning. I'm never been much of a breakfast person, so I do a little bit of intermittent fasting. But if I can get enough water in and get myself active, it really helps me to focus in once I get to work.
Okay. Top 3 apps on your phone now that you use.
My number one is follow-up boss. That one is critically important. I also, of course, use Waze tremendously because of how much we travel around and look at property. Beyond that, I would say I have to remember what it is. The weather is always incredibly important to me. I'm looking at my phone. If you're wondering what I'm doing, follow-up boss is so incredibly important in Waze. That one's tremendous. I'd say weather channel is probably my next one. And then of course we use a lot of social media platforms, so those are important also.
All right, Facebook or Instagram?
What's that?
If you had to choose one, Facebook or Instagram?
Well, he likes Instagram. I guess I'm old school, so I'm still more Facebook. I'm learning the Instagram one though more every day.
Okay. And this goes to both of you too, because I'm interested in hearing your different perspectives. If you could give one piece of advice to a new agent, what would it be?
Prospect. Get off your butt and prospect. Pick up the phone. Do open houses. Be in touch with customers. Prospecting is by far the most important part of real estate, no matter what you do. If you don't do that, you'll never have any customers. I mean, you'll have a few that you pop up by luck, but if you don't actively look for them and actively make sure that your customers are extremely happy, you won't have any more.
And I would say, coming from one that just got through, or actually I haven't even completed a year yet, consistency and not giving up. Even when it gets tough, or even when it seems like really good, like, oh my gosh, I have so much going on. Finally, got to my coasting point, don't stop. Because deals can fall through, deals can close, but you have to make sure that you're feeding yourself for the next couple of months. So stay active, stay persistent, don't give up, and things will work out.
Yeah, I mean, I think a good point to that is what you're doing today doesn't bring results for 90 or 120 days. Yeah. So it's important that you're always staying ahead. If you get up to that point and you're saying, oh man, everything's going great, and you slack off, well, guess what? In 90 days, you have nothing going on. So it's important that it's a continual process. I heard one time somebody was talking about Tiger Woods. This was, of course, back when he was a huge golf star. Not that he's not now. But they said, Tiger Woods goes out there and he wins $1 million prize. What's he doing the next morning? He's out on the golf course practicing again. Yeah. He's not celebrating. And that's one of the things that I think it was Mike Ferry that said this back in the day. And Mike's like, and most realtors be like, woohoo, I'm out big party if I just sold $1 million property. He said, but the big deal, what makes a real champion is going right back out there and starting practicing right away. There's no celebration, it's just another day in the life, and you just continue practicing your craft so that you're always the best.
Awesome. I've got one more for y'all. This is to each of you. So do you have a motto or words that you live by?
I do. Mine's a copy from Henry Ford, and it says, if you believe you can or you believe you can't, you're right.
Love it. Shaka?
I would say that mine is always do the right thing. My aunt used to always say that, and in the back of my head, no matter what other sayings I have or what it be, my aunt would always say, always do the right thing. And whether that's telling the truth or getting up and going to work, that's the right thing for me to do every day, is get up and go to work.
And it is true. We talk about that a lot. When we do the right thing by our customers, even if it's, a lot of times I'll have to tell customers stuff that they don't want to hear. Yeah. And I've seen one of the biggest mistakes that other agents make is they're afraid to tell that customer the bad news or whatever it is. Well, a customer always appreciates you telling them the truth, even if it's not what they want to hear. And it always bodes well for them and bodes well for you. It might hurt them for the moment, but it gives them a greater success in the end. Because if you don't tell them the truth and you don't truly provide that honest service and direct conversation with them, it ends up not getting them where they want to go. And that's what they hire us for. They hire us to get them where they want to go. And sometimes it's not pretty, but you have to be honest with them, and you have to do the right thing. And when you do the right thing, it always works out.
I love that. I love that. That's a great way to end it right here. Always tell the truth, folks, and do the right thing, and it will all work out.
Yeah, always tell the truth. No matter how bad it is, no matter how hard it is, the truth always prevails.
That's right. Well, you have heard today from Bru Krebs and Shaka Walker, and I hope that you all have learned as much as I have. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming on the show.
I appreciate you having us.
And y'all, everybody go have a successful day.
Absolutely.
Bye.
Bye-bye.